y'all, and welcome back to my channel, Kaya's Commentary. Today I just want to go on a mini rant about the Marvel Cinematic Movie Universe depiction of Wanda from WandaVision to Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. Now yes, there will be spoilers for both WandaVision, sorry if you haven't seen it by now, as well as Doctor Strange, but I'll try to keep spoilers for the film to a minimum because I know it's only in its third or fourth week and not everyone has had a chance to see it. I'm not here to critique the film anyway, not really. Now the film was great, the acting was great, Elizabeth Olsen really delivered, but I kind of want to vent about how the Wanda from the universe that we have currently been seeing is the villain of MOM and how I don't really think she should have been. But before I get too far into that, you can follow me on Instagram at kaya.r.pennington, on Snapchat at queenathena44, on Twitter at kaya.r.pennington, and I'm now on TikTok also at kaya.r.pennington, so follow me on all platforms. Getting down to the video. I want to start off by saying Comic Wanda was never really a hero, more of an anti-hero who had villainous ways or morally gray ways. And the same could be said of movie Wanda. She was not really a hero, but an anti-hero who had villainous ways or morally gray ways. Outside of that, Comic Wanda and movie Wanda are two different characters, and I am only talking about movie Wanda and only from WandaVision to MOM. For a more in-depth analysis of Wanda from comic to film, I'd highly suggest Princess Week's video on Doctor Strange, which I'll try to remember to link in the description box below. Now, WandaVision starts off with Wanda and Vision in a suburban sitcom of sorts. So it starts out in the 50s and ends in the 2000s. And Wanda and Vision are husband and wife, and they're just living in suburbia. So they're in this town, Westview, New Jersey, and the town has been enslaved. And so agents outside of the town are like, what is happening? Who put two Avengers here? What's going on? And so as the show progresses, we realize, oh, Wanda did this. Wanda has enslaved the town, but she doesn't really know how. But when she figures out how she's done this and that it was in fact her who did it, she decides, I'm gonna be selfish. I have a family here. I have Vision. We have two boys, Billy and Tommy. I'm keeping everyone in this town safe and happy. Leave us alone. So the villain of the show, more of an antagonist, I guess, because Wanda is also supposed to be the villain. Agatha Harkness, I can never pronounce her last name, so Agatha Harkness, she shows Wanda the Darkhold, or the Book of the Damned, which talks about the Scarlet Witch, which is what Wanda is. And she's like, you use chaos magic, you were born or whatever to destroy. And so in an attempt to mess with Wanda and get inside her head, she's like, look how bad you actually are. You're hurting people, you're making these people miserable. And she shows Wanda, and Wanda is like, oh, I don't want to hurt people. I don't want people to be afraid of me. I don't want this. I have to stop this. And so she stops. She frees everyone. She gives up the life with her family. And we basically see Wanda go through the 5 stages of grief, with the end being acceptance. And the post-credit scene in WandaVision shows her reading the Darkhold, and then we hear her kids crying out from another universe, and then that's the show. I'll say here that apparently I misunderstood that scene, the post-credit scene in WandaVision, because I assumed that, yeah, she's looking through the Darkhold, but she's looking as so to say, okay, this is what the Scarlet Witch is, this is what y'all say it is, let me show you how good the Scarlet Witch can actually be, or at least how much of an anti-hero the Scarlet Witch can actually be. And then she hears her children crying, and it's like, oh, they're still around somewhere, let me go find them and help them, and then the show ends. I will also say that the Darkhold corrupts. Whoever reads it, you know, you start getting bad, dark thoughts or whatever, it corrupts you. It makes you a morally gray or quote-unquote evil person. I'll also say that maybe I missed some stuff because I don't really remember where they talk about in WandaVision how the Darkhold makes people corrupt, but that's me admitting that I missed some stuff. But I will die on my hill that that post-credit scene, the way I saw it is the way I saw it, and I will die on that hill that that is what I thought it was. So, but anyway, the Darkhold corrupts because by the time we get to MOM, Wanda is completely corrupted. She is looking for this girl, America, this teenage girl, who has the ability to jump into different universes and realities. So she's gonna get this girl, she's gonna steal her power, and she's gonna go find a reality where her boys are and live there. So that is basically her character arc for the film. She's looking for this girl, she finds this girl, she's about to steal the girl's power, and then the girl is like, hey, this is what you are doing. And then Wanda is like, oh, I don't want to hurt people, I don't want people to be afraid of me, I have to give it up, I have to stop. And she does. She gives up that life with her boys, and that's kind of her story arc for the film. I'm aggravated for several reasons. Now, I finished this film and was like, I feel something. What is this feeling that I feel? Disappointment. But why is it disappointment? Because the film wasn't disappointing. Wanda disappointed me. Here's why. Didn't we already do this? Didn't we just do this in WandaVision? In WandaVision, once I figure out that, oh, it's me that's keeping everyone in here and, you know, all of that, well, I'm going to choose to be selfish because I deserve to be happy, you know? Oh, but I'm actually hurting people and people are afraid of me and I don't want that. I have to stop. I have to give it up. MOM. I'm going to start out selfish. I'm trying to get mine. I'm going to get mine. Oh, but I'm actually hurting people. It took me a minute to see it, but I'm actually hurting people. I don't want that. I don't want people to be afraid of me. I have to give it up. I have to stop. I have to let it go. Didn't we already do this? Like, her story from what is like, you shat on WandaVision because, like, and maybe if MOM had come first with a bit of backstory as to why Wanda is looking for her kids, and then WandaVision happened, like, for further backstory and then, like, to show where she is now, I don't know, but like it does not make sense to me because we've done this. Wanda has had her chance to be selfish in her villain era in WandaVision, and at the end of it all, she ultimately decided to give it up because at her core, in the movieverse anyway, she's not an evil villain. She's not a selfish person, right? And I'm all for Wanda getting her. She deserves to be selfish, but this thing where I'm gonna hurt people, I'm gonna be selfish, but then realize actually I don't want people to be afraid of me, I don't want to hurt people, but now I have to give it up. It's redundant. Also, another reason why I'm aggravated is because you basically turned her into the crazy witch who has too much power. Something that is a trope that needs to die in film and TV. They did it with Katrina and Sleepy Hollow right before they killed her off. I'm sure they've done it to Bonnie in the Vampire Diaries, or at least one of her ancestors. And they even did it to Jean Grey in the X-Men trilogy, and you're doing it here. So it's her powers that are so overbearing her that just makes her crazy, and that just she has too much power and she can't control it. Or it's the Darkhold, and the Darkhold is corrupting her, and that's, you know, if that wasn't there, she wouldn't be like this. Or it's her grief, and her grief is, you know, corrupting her, it's making her crazy and mad, and if that wasn't there, she wouldn't be like this. Which also brings me to my next point. That isn't even, you don't even really make her a villain because you give her that out. It's the Darkhold, it's the grief, it's her powers. If you're gonna make Wanda a villain, make her a villain. You know, she's out here, you know, slaying everybody because she doesn't care. She's about to kill this teenage girl and take her powers because she doesn't care. She's about to displace this other Wanda from another universe because she doesn't care. Her kids are afraid of her. She doesn't care because they'll grow to love her. She does not care. If you're gonna make her a villain, make her a villain. Not give her the out of it's the Darkhold. It's her grief. It's her powers. You just turned her into the crazy witch. She can't control her powers. Her powers are controlling her. That is something you almost never really see with males and the male counterpart, right? Like, sure, the male will go crazy with power or whatever, but it's power he's controlling. The power is not controlling him. But when you switch it and it's a female, it's a woman witch, oh, the powers are controlling her. She just can't handle it. Kill that trope. Kill that trope. You didn't even really make her a villain. You just gave her that out. You did the same thing that you did in WandaVision. Speaking of Vision, one White Vision is still out there somewhere. Why don't you go find him and procreate? You got all this power. Go find White Vision. 2, now when Doctor Strange comes to Wanda initially at the beginning of the film, they hint at Vision, and it's insinuated that she still blames him. She still blames Doctor Strange for Vision's death. And then we just don't see Vision. We don't hear about Vision at all for the rest of the film. They got her out here looking like a single parent. It's just about her boys. It's just her and her boys. Vision is not there. And I don't know if in these other realities Vision has been killed as well, I suppose. But they really got her out here looking like a single parent. But that's not my issue. My issue is that Vision, you know, and even Pietro, her brother, they were like one of the driving factors of her grief in WandaVision. The whole reason that happened, and that we find out that she's the Scarlet Witch and her powers of being the Scarlet Witch, are the events that happened in WandaVision. And you just threw that all away. Like, you don't mention Vision at all. He's not there. And I don't know if they couldn't get the actors or if they're going to do something else with those characters. I'm sure they are. But we just did not get any other hint of Vision and her grief about that as to why that is now the driving factor in this film. Also, now Princess Weeks suggests that they took a lot of Wanda's backstory from the comic book House of M and her grief in that comic and placed it in this film, or at least that's what they maybe perhaps tried to do, and it didn't work out. And here's why: because that comic Wanda is different from the movie Wanda. They have 2 completely different backstories, so that Wanda's grief doesn't translate to movie Wanda, because none of what happened in that comic happened to movie Wanda. Her grief stems from WandaVision, which we've already addressed. We've already gone through the 5 stages of grief, with the last being acceptance. Now, my last point is, and let's see how I can say this without spoiling too much. There is a certain evolved character, a fan favorite, that shows up in the film, and Wanda makes quick work of them. And I don't like that. Now, when another certain redhead went against this evolved character, there was a struggle. This evolved character was fighting tooth and nail with this other redhead and eventually lost. Now, this is not a comparison as to how strong Wanda is compared to this redhead or even this evolved character. I don't care. There should have been some struggle, because that death did not feel earned. This is the evolved character, and just went out so quick. Like, there was recognition, like, oh crap, Wanda's here, and then they're not there, they're just gone. Like, that was too quick. I get it's not really her movie, and so, you know, the fights aren't really, but like, there should have been more of a fight there. And I feel like people are so, you know, obsessed with Wanda being a villain, because a lot of her comic book character, she is a villain, or, you know, has villainous ways. She does a lot of morally corrupt ways. She doesn't really start out as a hero or an anti-hero, and so you want to see that portrayed. But we've already set the course for movie Wanda that doesn't really involve any of that villain Wanda, not from the comics anyway. Now, you could have had a chance to do something in WandaVision, but you didn't. You ultimately, she's still the good guy at heart, which is one thing that I actually want to applaud them, because in WandaVision you give her a lot of reasons why she could turn villainous, but then she just doesn't, which is powerful in its own, because that is also something we rarely see. And then you take her and you flip it complete 180 in MOM. And again, I feel like people are so caught up with Wanda being a villain and how badass a villain she was, and she was. Elizabeth Olsen played the hell out of a villainous Wanda, but people are so caught up in, ooh, look at that, she got some of the coldest lines in the film, she out here slaying everybody, look how she do that, yada yada yada, that you're not sitting here like, oh, but it kind of doesn't make sense, because we've already done this in WandaVision, and, you know, she's already come to terms with that. Like, honestly, I thought Wanda in MOM was going to help Doctor Strange defeat the big baddie, not be the big baddie. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. If you wanted a villainous Wanda, why not go get villain Wanda from another universe and have villain Wanda from that universe and Wanda from the current universe, along with Doctor Strange from the current universe, fight that Wanda and that evil Doctor Strange? Like, and in the trailers, they did what they were supposed to do. They misled. It kind of seems like evil Doctor Strange was going to play a bigger factor than he did. And he didn't. Like, he did not have that big. So to me, I thought the film was going to be like, oh, Doctor Strange is fighting evil Doctor Strange, and, you know, evil Wanda maybe from another universe, because current Wanda doesn't have a reason, because we've already dealt with all of that in WandaVision. I thought that she was going to help Doctor Strange, and somehow her boys are mixed into it, and that's why we heard them crying out in the end of WandaVision. And in helping Doctor Strange, she helps her boys. That is not how that went at all. So I don't think current Wanda from the current universe that we have been seeing, she has reason to be a villain, but it just doesn't make sense to me, because we've already moved through that in WandaVision, and you at the end of WandaVision kind of decided that we didn't want to turn her into a villain, because at the core she's not villainous. She wants to be happy, she wants like her own, but she's not, oh, I'm just gonna be out here slaying everybody for no reason, or, you know, just to get my boys back, even though we've already done this. Like, I'm not satisfied with her being a villain overall. I think they turned her into the crazy witch. They kind of just shat all on WandaVision and threw it out the window. Vision is still out there somewhere. Go find him. That evolved character that she had a fight with, I was not satisfied with that, because it didn't seem right that they didn't put up a bigger fight. It's all redundant to me. But that's all I want to say. That's it. I just wanted to vent about how I really don't think that Wanda from the current universe that we've been seeing should have been the villain of MOM. Oh, but that's it. I am through. Just wanted to do a mini rant, so I'm gonna stop it here. I tried to stick to my notes, but I'm gonna stop it here. If you like this video, please like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, follow me on all platforms. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.